Tonight, the streets of Port Augusta left trash just weeks after a free waste disposal day. And the Aussie telco giant expanding services right across the Spencer Gulf.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening. Port Augusta residents have had enough of litter bugs desecrating the streets. The newest round of illegal discarding of rubbish seeing wooden pallets, green waste and bike parts tossed onto the back roads.
Hard rubbish and furniture dumping has spiked once again in Port Augusta. The issue rearing its head despite consistent efforts from the council and community to reduce the problem over the past 12 months.
It's bloody disgusting because all the work that goes into cleaning up.
Ken, one of the many community members that helped the local landscape board clean up discarded waste on Yorkeys Crossing last year, says many of the sites are already returning to how they once were.
There was about 7 of us came along with the truck, the front end loader, and picked up 4 or 5 loads of rubbish.
The City Council is disappointed illegal dumping has returned so soon, especially after holding a successful free waste disposal day last month. With approximately $10,000 spent on clean-up efforts last year, the council says illegal dumping reduces the money they can spend on improving infrastructure and cleaning local parks.
Rubbish is being dumped by trailer loads and it's actually disgusting and making a mess of our whole land use and what our visitors see.
Waste management company Cleanaway says it's unlikely that those disposing of their rubbish live near the dump sites.
Unfortunately, when people are away from home, they take less responsibility for their waste and they don't take ownership of it.
Disheartened by the current events, the community are now looking for other ways to approach the issue.
To see that there's more going on, something has to be done. Catch people out somehow.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Telstra's community engagement will receive a boost in the Spencer Gulf thanks to an expansion of the Connected Communities program. For the first time, the telco will appoint a remote community advocate to monitor network performance in the region.
Making or taking a phone call in the Spencer Gulf is about to be easier than ever, as Telstra announces plans to expand its regional team through the Connected Communities program.
We're doing that in a number of ways. And firstly, we're actually bringing our call centres back onshore, and we're in plan now to have that all completed by June the 30th.
The aim to improve service, technical support quality and connectivity in the region, from urban towns to the Spencer Gulf's most remote places. A number of measures will be introduced, including the return of call centre staff back to Australia. With the rise and improvement of remote working technology, Telstra says they can hire more staff from regional areas.
We want to be able to also help customers understand more about digital capability and digital literacy. So part of our program will be working with communities to help upskill them with their digital capability.
In addition, the telco will also hire regional community advocates who will directly work with local communities to inform them about network coverage and performance. Black spots also being patched, with 3 new 4G transmitters launching in the state's west coast.
The Telstra Connected Communities program is all about putting more boots on the ground in regional Australia and helping improve the experience and coverage for our regional customers.
More information can be found on Telstra's website. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A man who was allegedly drunk behind the wheel has lost his licence in Port Lincoln. Around 10 o'clock on Tuesday night, police stopped a car on the Flinders Highway where the 55-year-old driver allegedly blew a positive reading of 0.140. The Boston local was issued with an immediate loss of licence for 12 months and will appear in court at a later date. Port Lincoln's Peter Teakle Wines is plating up for this year's Tasting Australia event. Their award-winning restaurant, Line and Label, is set to present some of the Eyre Peninsula's finest produce to the region.
Plating up the flavours of the Eyre Peninsula. Head chef Mark Jensen bringing together the best produce across the region for next month's Tasting Australia event.
5 courses, one of those courses including a snacks where you have about 3 different components, these ones being gazander oysters, and we've got crab croquettes and mussel patés.
The Line and Label restaurant also gaining national recognition, awarded with the Australian Good Food Guys Chef's Hat and the Reader's Choice Award.
Chef's hats are awarded annually to the best restaurants. 1 hat, 2 hat, 3 hats. We achieved 1 hat again. Also the Reader's Choice Award, which was a nice little bow tie to that award.
Mark and the team are committed to delivering the region's finest produce, even growing their own veggie garden, allowing for a paddock to plate presentation.
We call it EP Tasting Plate, so Eyre Peninsula Tasting Plate. It's a good reflection of everything that we grow best on our coastline here. Port Lincoln, renowned for seafoods.
The Tasting Australia event will begin on May 5th, with tickets now up for sale online.
At the end of the day, we just like cooking with good ingredients and putting nice food on a plate and making people happy.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, how musos can help a local RSL have a successful Anzac Day, and the fun and environmental way one uni is enticing Year 11s into a career in engineering. More than 24 councils across the division of Grey will receive their share of $2.1 billion in financial assistance from the federal government. The federal member for Grey, Rowan Ramsey, says the early payment will give councils the flexibility to deal with challenges that have arisen over the past 12 months. According to Mr Ramsey, councils don't have to spend the funds now, but can plan to spend them in the future instead. Port Augusta's Anzac Day ceremony is shaping up to be a bigger event this year due to the relaxed COVID restrictions. Community members already volunteering to help out, but RSL says what they really need is a band. Edward McCarroll reports.
With Anzac Day less than 3 weeks away, Port Augusta's RSL is working hard to make sure the day goes off without a hitch. Held at Gladstone Square, the dawn service and days preceding events will likely run as they did prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. The RSL this year hoping to see the return of the Anzac Day March if restrictions permit it on the day.
Just the preparation, it's the hardest part, but at this stage we're still marching.
The current challenge, finding a band to keep the procession marching in time.
Because of COVID, we cannot get an army unit or a band from Adelaide.
The RSL reaching out for local community bands or individual musicians to get involved.
Someone's got a pipe drums, a pipes, something of that nature, and help us, that'd be good.
Last year, as a substitute for the march, a COVID-safe banner fundraiser was put in place, a tradition the RSL hopes to see continue on this year.
I hope the kids get something out of it, paint them up and do what they can with them.
The RSL is asking community members to display an Anzac banner on their fence or balconies if they cannot attend the Gladstone Square proceedings.
The Broken Hill Book Company has been formed to record the history of the old mining town and the Far West District. Featuring former staff of the local paper, the first book produced by the company is launching next week.
Telling the history of the Silver City. Company owner Robert Williamson is passionate about telling those stories.
I put this idea to a few people that I know in town that I dealt with through the BDT. About the middle of last year, we started on our first book.
It will feature the history of the local watering holes of the old mining town, called pubs, publicans and people of Broken Hill and the Far West. As well as writing the book, the company will also be posting videos of the people they interview for it, saying that not everything can fit on the pages of a book.
With the pub book that we're writing at the moment, we're also going to have a lot of photos that you can access online, and we're actually videoing the different publicans and the different characters from the pubs now.
Before the book comes out, Robert and his team will be launching the second expanded edition of Strands by local poet Barbara Di Franceschi. That will take place next Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m, at the Railway Museum in Blen Street. Australian poet Les Wicks is set to officiate the launch. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
CQ University has been enticing Year 12s at St Mark's College to consider taking on engineering as a career. Students were put to the test by competing against each other to design the best miniature wind turbines that produce the highest voltage.
Future engineers in the making. Physics students putting their knowledge to the test and getting a taste of what it's like to work as an engineer. University lecturers giving students the task to build a wind turbine out of cardboard and paper that can produce the most energy when put in front of a fan.
It's a really good activity for them to understand that engineering is a design-based project, and you have to look at the critical factors and change the factors to get the best out of the situation.
Students getting an in-depth look at how society will change over the generations with sustainable engineering.
They're learning, all the different types of engineering and how they actually affect society and how we're supposed to fix what previous generations might have messed up, or just improve society overall.
CQ University saying it's the best time to study engineering since the demand for jobs is rapidly increasing.
And that demand is not just for one type of engineer, it's civil, mechanical, electrical, mining, because we are moving towards a more sustainable future, and there's been a lot of investment in critical infrastructure.
And Jonas is already convinced that he wants to become an engineer.
Well, I've just really been interested in electronics and, I built my own computer one day and that was fun.
Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Why kids are set to benefit from Stage 1 of the Port Lincoln Foreshore Development, and jumping for a good cause, PCYC's Star Jump Challenge heads to Broken Hill. Welcome back. The rapid antigen test kit collection site at Port Augusta has moved. Close contacts can now pick up a free rapid test from the old Centrelink building on 99 Commercial Road. SA Health says the new collection points in the CBD will make it easier for residents to pick up the kits after applying for one online. The Port Augusta RAT collection point is open from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. every day. The much anticipated development of the Port Lincoln foreshore is officially on its way. The 5-stage program will see the inclusion of a new playground and improvements to the town's jetty.
The foreshore development is set to put Port Lincoln back on the map. Stage 1 of the build kicking things off with the inclusion of a new playground.
Just behind us here we'll have the new playground with barbecues incorporated into the playground area, and also most importantly an Indigenous interpretive area as part of the playground makeup.
A construction that is backed by state government funding.
The total cost of about $7.4 million. The state government has come across with half of that for us, and we appreciate that very much because it's enabled us to be on the front foot.
Stage 2 will focus on the repair and maintenance of the foreshore pathway between Lewis Street and the Port Lincoln Hotel. The town's jetty is also getting a makeover.
And the jetty will not only have reactivation at the land end, it'll have maintenance and repair done to it on the way through of the existing jetty.
The Port Lincoln Mayor saying that the developments of the foreshore are well overdue.
We haven't done anything down here for 60 years, which means that by standing still we've been going backwards. What we want to do is activate the foreshore for all generations of Port Lincoln people and the Eyre Peninsula people.
All stages of the foreshore aim to be built by the end of November 2023. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Broken Hill PCYC is getting physical for Youth Week with this year's Star Jump Challenge. Participants are hoping to raise funds to help support the mental health of young people across New South Wales, and businesses and schools are taking part.
This week, over 40 schools and businesses have taken part in the challenge, raising funds for a worthy cause. Today, staff of the PCYC went to Burkward Public School for the students to take part.
Local support has been amazing. Everyone is jumping on board. We're ecstatic by the amount of people that have donated already.
The school raising $172 for the organisation, with the kids excited for the challenge.
Wellbeing and mental health is important to our students, so we've decided that we need to jump on board and help the community out.
The team has been going around to different businesses this week and performing as many star jumps as they can, all with good form. This journalist even took part.
No sloppy form apart from me. I think the very first star jumps I ever did, which was on Monday, I lost both my shoes, so I've come the rest of the week with better shoes, so everyone else's form is great.
If you'd like to donate, contact the Broken Hill PCYC. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. The new art exhibition bringing the past together with the present And we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Hello again. A new photographic display has arrived at the Port Pirie Regional Art Gallery just in time to commemorate Anzac Day. The World War I exhibition shows 25 pictures of Australian soldiers embedded in a modern-day image with the Belgian bomb disposal team.
Reflecting on the horrors of the past. This new exhibition brings together two separate groups of men centuries apart, but united through conflict. The images portray Australian soldiers who fought in the Flanders Fields, which is regarded as one of the deadliest battles of the First World War.
So this was a way I could use my skill set as a photographer to document the First World War. The First World War troops were the essential part to tie it all together.
For 4 years, both sides of the war fired more than 1 billion rounds of ammunition and shells into Belgian battlefields, creating ongoing work for the bomb disposal team.
I would go with the Belgians to a location. Sure enough, there on the ground are the shells that the farmer or the construction worker has dug up. I would look at the environment. Is this going to make a great composition? Yes, no.
The exhibit has been open for a week, with many people already coming in to discover the history.
That'll be our contribution to reminding people of the consequences of war, I guess, and the commitment that Australia had as part of that.
The single most important thing about this project, it will, as long as we have war, this project will always be 100% relevant.
The public can see the gallery for free until it finishes on the 8th of May. Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Athletes across the region took advantage of perfect weather conditions last week, with the Spencer Golf's croquet players gathering for their season finale. With all the sports results from the weekend, here's Mark Zeta.
Starting off with the Northwestern Pennant Croquet, with the final game of the season being played at Crystalbrook Courts. The first game saw Port Pirie's Barry Hutchinson and Merv Nadar face off against Crystalbrook's Kelvin Bowman and Lou James. It was no contest for Port Pirie, who defeated their opponents 26 hoops to 7. The second match saw Port Pirie's Sandra Arbin and Pat Norton face Crystalbrook's Lorraine Saunders and Pam Pedler. Like the men's game earlier, Port Pirie won the match, but with a closer margin, 21 hoops to 15. Overall, Port Pirie ended the day 47 hoops to 22. Port Pirie being named the overall winners of this year's Pennant Shield and Flag for this season. Both items presented to the winning team led by President Sandra Arbin at a breakup event at Port Pirie Courts last Wednesday. The next season will begin in September. Turning to round 4 of the Wireless Soccer Association now, and Steel beat Westlands 2-1 over the weekend. Meanwhile, Lions defeated Croatia 10-0. That's a wrap of the previous weekend sports results. If your team would like to be featured in our next bulletin, let us know through our Facebook page.
The weekend weather forecast is shaping up to be rather nice, with blue skies and light winds, meaning we're in for some ideal conditions for those keen to wet a line. Here are our fishing experts with their tips.
Hi, welcome to Whalers Fishing Tips this week. The local jetty has been doing okay late in the evenings. There's been some nice Tommy Ruffs coming from there and a few squid starting to show up from the jetty as well. Over towards Black Point off the rocks, there's still some really nice schools of salmon. There has been a few small yellowtail kingfish sighted around Mushroom Rocks as well. From the Point Lowly Rocks, there's been a few garfish. Around the Point Lowly Marina, there's been some nice crabs coming in from there. And a little bit further down towards the Sandhills, a few squid as well. For the boaties, still some crabs running, and there's been a few nice garfish down south of Wowler.
G'day and welcome to this week's Fishing Tips from Port Augusta at Jewel of the North. Well, it's nearly Easter and those species are starting to rock up. Good catches of squid at the moment. As always, the last half hour, drifting on the shack seems to provide best catches of squid there. King George whiting is starting to show up down the south end of the Flinders and around the Yatala Harbour area, so that's a good sign as well for the Easter period. A few flathead getting caught by the guys and girls that are trying to catch those King George whiting. There's a couple of grass whiting mixed up with them as well. That's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Madeline. Lovely to have you on board tonight, and good evening to our viewers. It was a beautiful autumn day across our region today. At 3 p.m, Port Augusta was sunny and 36, Port Lincoln was cloudy and 20, Woodner was 22. Looking further out across the region now, Whyalla was sunny and 22, Broken Hill was 25, Port Pirie was sunny and 26, Adelaide was partly cloudy and 23, Cooper Pedy reached 27. Taking a look at the satellite image now, some low cloud over near coastal and elevated areas of the southeast is forming in cool southeast winds. Clear skies and dry over the remainder of the state with a high pressure ridge and dry easterly winds. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swells below 1 metre. Mostly sunny in Port Lincoln tomorrow with a high of 24. Cleve is set to reach a max of 26. Woodner sunny and a high of 29, while at the top 26, Port Augusta will reach a max of 29 degrees and Kadina will top 27. Mostly sunny in Port Pirie with 29, Clare is set to top 25 and Broken Hill to reach 24 degrees. Let's take a look at the weekend forecast now, and it'll be sunny across the region on Saturday. Woodner will have a top of 33, Port Augusta and Cooper Pedy both 31. It'll reach 28 degrees in Port Lincoln, Adelaide and Broken Hill. To Sunday now, it'll be sunny and 34 in Port Augusta, a shower or two developing in Port Lincoln with 24, Port Pirie 33. Sadly, some showers are on their way next week, possible shower in Woodner with 26, a shower or two in Port Lincoln with 21 degrees. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you, Madeline.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Thursday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. I'm Madeline Kerr. Good night.